Meeting agenda. Staff, anything to add, edit?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. A few updates and additions for tonight's agenda. Forgive the sound in here. The first one is going to be an addition to your agenda tonight. It's to add old business item 9B, and that is updates to the employee handbook. The next addition or update is going to be to new business item 10A. The council previously had this report or this memo in their agenda. There was several attachments with this memo, and we are just updating the fourth attachment of that memo for the, like I said, where are we? New business item A, the preservation of qualifying census tract for low-income housing tax credit and preliminary conduit bond financing for potential affordable housing project at 3839 Lakeview Avenue North. The third update for tonight is going to be to consent item 6J. That's an updated licenses list that was emailed to council earlier and is updated in the packet. I also have a printed list if anyone wants to view it here tonight. And then the last update I have is for other business item 11A. That's the voucher disbursement report. The council received this in an email earlier. I also have a printed copy tonight if anyone wants to view it, but we're actually just adding the report to the agenda for tonight. And those are my updates.
Thank you. Council, anything you'd like to shift around or comments, questions about tonight's agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting agenda with the additions that staff recommended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no or nay. All right, consent agenda is approved.
The agenda.
I'm sorry?
The agenda.
I'm sorry, the agenda. We're going to start this way out. The agenda has been approved. Now let's move on to the consent agenda. Pursuant to council rules, one motion, non-debatable, will approve the recommendation noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion in separate action. Such items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered immediately following the approval of the balance of the consent agenda. Staff, anything on the consent agenda? No? Okay, we heard that already. Council, anything that you'd like to pull from the agenda or comments, questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, tonight's consent agenda approved. So what did we approve? We approved the City Council meeting minutes from December 2nd, 2025. We have also approved the resolution updating procedure to tally write-in votes. We approved the second reading of ordinance number 25-17 updating the fee schedule. We approved the Deputy Registrar's monthly financial statements. We approved Robbinsdale's Wine and Spirits monthly financial statements. We approved quarterly financial information for general water, sewer, and sanitary, storm sewer, and solid waste. We approved authorizing the city manager to execute an organized labor agreement. We approved an update to the city manager contract. We approved non-union pay and insurance. We approved several licenses. We approved credit card charges and payment. We also approved 9 2026 license renewals for the Birdhouse Eat and Drink, Broadway Pizza Eagle's Nest Lounge, Taqueria El Parian, Hy-Vee, Marna's Eatery and Lounge, Pig Ate My Pizza, Travail Kitchen and Amusement, Wicked Wort Brewing Company, and Robbinsdale Wine and Spirits. And then finally, we approved the police department's property room upgrade. All right, next on the agenda is presentations. We have a presentation here by the Human Rights Commission, providing us with their annual update.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Sutton, and City Manager, and everyone here. I'm Julie Ralston Aoki. I'm the chair of the Robbinsdale Human Rights Commission, and it is my pleasure to be here tonight to deliver our annual report for 2025. And with me is my colleague from the commission, Carlos Wallace-Smith. Do you want to introduce yourself?
As you said, my name is Carlos Smith, and I'm a member of the HRC. It's good being here.
Good to meet you,
Thanks for being
Carlos.
out.
Thanks for being here.
All right, so I'm going to start with just talking a little bit about who we are. I'm setting my timer here so I can keep tap. Who we are and what we do, and then spend a chunk of time, Carlos and I will talk about what we feel like our big accomplishments and the activities that we engaged in this year, and then wrap up with a little bit about how we're seeing the work ahead for us, and also with some asks for you, both relating to support, both in terms of recruitment and financial support, but also in your terms of information and getting more insights into what you perceive as being the priorities that we could be focusing on for the coming year. So starting with who we are and what we do. Our commission, like many of the commissions, is established in statute, and our main purpose, as it's set out in city code, is to assist the city council in supporting the public policy of the city to support residents in being free from illegal discrimination in employment, housing, and real property, public accommodations, public services, and education consistent with the Human Rights Act. As part of carrying out that purpose in code, there's also a list of the types of the duties that we have, and basically they sum up as advising the city council on matters relating to discrimination and human rights, also recommending and implementing programs and activities that are relevant to human rights and effectuating the city policy, as well as doing other things that are relevant or related to supporting human rights in Robbinsdale. In 2021, the commission began to do strategic planning, which was a kind of a new thing for us. And we continue to do it every other year. And currently our goals through the strategic planning process, which have kind of remained consistent, I would say, over the past few years, are to advance equity, strengthen collaborative synergy with other city entities, and increase outreach and awareness about Human Rights Commission issues. And I think that, as hopefully you'll hear tonight, we've been pretty successful and feel like we've made a lot of progress in all of those areas. Of course, we've had successes and we have challenges as well. And I think, often a success, the other side of it is a challenge. So, for example, we feel like we've done a pretty good job of bringing issues to the City Council in a timely way. There's been a lot coming up this year. And so we've done our best, even as a volunteer commission that meets only once a month, to try to bring things to the City Council that we felt were really important. We've also started a new initiative this year in doing outreach, targeted outreach to the rental community, trying to meet people where they're at. So we've been going to some of the apartment buildings, and we've had a plan to try to hit almost every building in the city over the next few years. And then we've been working on building connections both across city departments and with other city staff, as well as with external partners in other communities and in the Robbinsdale community. So the challenges, I would say that the outreach to the rental community has been very challenging work for us. We're kind of building the plane as we fly it, and always thinking constantly about how we can improve that process, how can we do more, but in terms of expanding our reach, but also making sure that we're making meaningful connections with community members. Another ongoing challenge, which you'll hear about a little bit tonight, is the fact that we don't have a defined budget. And so this can make event planning more challenging for us. And so, for example, we had hoped to do an event at South Halifax Park for the renter community around there, but we ended up having to drop that plan because of lack of funding. And then, again, just the sheer volume of issues that are arising, have been arising this year. And so that creates both just, information overload, and then also trying to decide what to prioritize has been a challenge. And related to that, of course, is making sure we're avoiding burnout. I think I skipped a slide here. Oh, no, I'm going to go back to this for a second, because I wanted to talk about in terms of the accomplishments. When we talk about our work, we talk about it in 4 buckets. So public awareness and education, community engagement, collaboration, and policy recommendations. And, they're divided up in those buckets, but they're also, as you'll hear, very interrelated, in that a lot of the things that one event might serve multiple functions, and so it's going to come up in multiple contexts. So, starting with public awareness and education, this activity, we approach it both from a perspective of raising awareness that the Human Rights Commission exists and that about who we are, because many times community members don't really even know that who we are or what we do, and then also doing education about human rights issues. And also we wanted to start with this topic because I feel like it's very foundational to all of our work and really underlies all of the areas that we work in. So this year, as we reflected back on all the different events and activities that we were a part of, we were all kind of a little bit pleasantly surprised to realize, wow, we did something almost every single month. As you can see from this list of events and activities, and so starting at the beginning of the year, we did our first time ever Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast, and that was in partnership with Elim Lutheran Church and the JCPP's Multicultural Advisory Committee. So that was really cool. Again, example of like the collaboration that we're focusing on too. Carlos is going to talk a little bit more about the breakfast here in a few minutes. And then we went on, we did movie screenings in honor of Black History Month and also Women's History Month. Again, that was in partnership with Elim Lutheran Church. And then we also, one of our commissioners, our vice chair, Courtney Kirking, who is trying to make it but may not be able to due to a work conflict, but she really carried the water in putting together this wonderful exhibit about the women of Robbinsdale. In May, Courtney and Molly, another commissioner, went and did a presentation to the Robbinsdale Chamber of Commerce, just to, again, say about who we are, what we do. July, we put on a community event about the Obergefell Supreme Court case called Obergefell and You. And then we also participated in city events throughout the year. So in April, we participated in the MAC cookout in support of the Robbinsdale Police Department. We also participated in the Main Street Meet and Greet and the Boo Bash. And we usually try to participate in the Whiz Bang Day Parade. Unfortunately, this year, everybody had scheduling conflicts, but that's usually something we do too. And so for this, in the underwear of public awareness and education, I just wanted to highlight the Martin Luther King Day breakfast. We thought it went really well, and we're working on planning it again. And so I'm going to turn it over to Carlos, my colleague, to talk a little bit about that.
Well, thank you, Julie, and thank you, Mia Sutton, and members of the council for having us. It was Edmund Burke who said, "The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men, and I might add women, to sit by and do nothing." So Dr. King understood this, and I believe it was this particular principle that underlie his fight against racism, against segregation. He stood up, he spoke up, and for what he did, America is a better country today. And so at the HRC, we have decided to honor Dr. King's life and his legacy by hosting the MLK breakfast annually. So you see on the screen, there's pictures from our first MLK breakfast. During that program, we had about 80 participants, much more than we anticipated. So it was a great success. And we had the Armstrong Chamber Strings that came out and performed for us. We had a spoken word artist from our community that also came in and performed. And we had a local vocalist from one of our local churches that came in and did 2 renditions for us. It was excellent. And the picture over there with the folks with the certificates, those are local emerging leaders in our community that we decided to honor because their actions and what they're doing is impactful to our community, and they're following in the legacy of Dr. King. And so we decided to honor them, and hopefully this is going to be a tradition at all of our annual MLK breakfasts. Now I want to take this opportunity to thank the council for supporting us in doing this. As we look forward to the upcoming MLK breakfast and considering our own legacy and what we have to do for our community, I'm reminded of the words of Henry Longfellow, who said, "The lives of great men remind us we can make our own lives sublime and depart and leave behind us our own footprints in the sands of time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so we also want to just ask for your indulgence because another commissioner, Kristen Lee, took some time to put together a little video memorializing the event, and we're not sure that everybody has seen it, and we have this opportunity to showcase it, and so we would like to share it with you now. It's about 2.5 minutes, and I promise that the rest of this won't take as long, but we'd like to share this with you.
Oh, I'll say, and don't apologize. Please, please highlight this.
Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
Yes.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day
Yes.
this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal.
I see trees of green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh, thank you. So hopefully this will be a highlight of your evening. It always gives me chills to see that video. And again, this was an event in partnership with the MAC and Elam Lutheran Church, funded by the Interfaith Action in St. Paul, and we'll be doing it again. We appreciate it. And, you know, the folks from the city council and the city staff who are able to show up. We hope you'll come again June 19th, or sorry, January 19th. And hopefully it won't be as cold as it was last year, but we all had warm hearts. So moving on to the next bucket of our work, which is community engagement. And again, much of the work that we just talked about involved community engagement and reaching out. And so there were those community-wide events that you saw the slide about, the focused outreach to renter communities, which involved additional meetings. Sometimes there were meetings that were, or events that were targeted or with those specific communities, or the times there were just meetings with the residents to talk and hear about their concerns, and again, help them understand like what we do and what we could do as a Human Rights Commission. We also have been trying to do focused outreach to business and civic organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, like the Lions Club, like the Rotary Club, the Optimist Club here that work in our area, as well as making sure that we are participating in city organized events to show up for our city. In terms of the community engagement work, I wanted to spend just a couple minutes talking about the outreach to the renter communities. Specifically, Robbins Landing was the first group that we reached out to, and that was in part because we had heard that there was a fire there about a year ago. It was very traumatic for the residents. As you all know, this is a building that there's people who are, many of them are low income and or have disabilities. And so, this is a community that's already dealing with challenges, and then this fire happened. And so we came with Philip Gray from the MAC to just kind of to introduce ourselves and just kind of hear what was on their minds. And we heard really amazing stories, both about the firefighters who helped them, as well as other residents who, elderly people helping other people try to get out of the building. And also, though, a lot about the fear and the anxiety and the trauma that people were feeling even, several weeks later after the fire because of that experience. And so we continue to meet with the residents and just sort of try to feel like what to ask about what could we bring into the building. And out of the conversation about the fire came the idea of bringing someone from the fire department to talk about fire safety and hear their concerns about what the conditions in the building were, what happened during the fire. And so that's one of the pictures here. We also thought we wanted to support this building and building their sense of community, and thought the idea of recognizing the heroes that helped each other out that day and also that help each other every day. Like they have a little food shelf that they run. There's some residents who create voluntary art activities, do bingo, cook a meal for other residents. So we wanted to honor those kind of like everyday heroes, and thankfully with support from Council Member Greenberg, we were able to put on a really nice dinner for them in June, and also bring in a speaker from the Homeline to talk a little bit about organizing as residents, because that was a topic that they were interested in. Then there was a resident who was interested in putting together a Thanksgiving meal for people, and so we provided just at an individual basis, but we lent our name Human Rights Commission as being a sponsor, and on an individual basis we did contributions of food and supplies in order to support that meal. And then we also just came in at other times again just to hear what else residents were interested in and talk through some of their concerns about the building. And then similarly, we also did some outreach to Lilac Parkway. And Carlos, would you like to say a few words about that?
Sure. So our apartment community constitute at least about half of our population. And so they're an important part of our community. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't even know, or they didn't even know that HRC existed until we started to do our outreach to them, and to let them know that there are resources in the city that you can tap into to get assistance if you need it, or at least get information. So Lilac Parkway Apartment was one of those communities that we visited. They were very receptive, and so we've been there twice now, and we've heard issues that they're faced with. We talked to Tim about some of the things that they wanted. They wanted a park bench. We talked to Tim about that. There were some people that raised security concerns. And so whatever we get from those communities, we bring back to the HRC, we talk about it. And those are some of the things that help to inform the policies that we will recommend to you guys, and some of the program directions that we're going to take. So it's important that we engage with with people in those communities and other communities too, like the church community, the immigrant community, so that we can know what's going on in their community, what are they thinking, what are they feeling, what are they going through. So that's why we're doing this, and it's extremely important. Lately we've been talking about immigration and all of that, but I'm pretty sure Julie's going to talk about that. But this is going to be ongoing, and so you're going to hear more about it next year.
Yeah, and I want to also give a shout out to Will Cardenas, the community engagement coordinator for the city, because he is actually the one who gave us this idea, or brought this idea up to us when we heard about the work he was doing in delivering groceries to some of the apartment building complexes around the city. And so we thought, yeah, like we should be doing something like that too. And so we want to expand our reach again. You know, we've been talking a little bit with Parker Station Flats and trying to get an event set up there. Like we had the plan to try to do something in South Halifax Park, knowing there's a lot of renters around that community. So we're going to, you'll continue to hear more about this work too. So that brings me to the collaboration, you know, and again, that shout out to Will, I think, is a nice segue to this. Again, we think about the collaboration work as being both internally focused and thinking about how do we collaborate better and leverage the resources we have through city staff and our city partners. And that includes talking with you all. So we've been trying to come to more work sessions where we can have more of these conversations, doing some outreach to our city council members to have those touch points, talking with Tim, getting guidance around city processes and structures. We feel like we've made, through the help of our city staff liaison, Joanna Brooks, who's awesome, making connections with Rachel Lean and the communications work, and Will as the community engagement, also the Parks and Rec team as well, who always go above and beyond. So we've been really trying to think about how to make those connections. Also working with the Robbinsdale Police Department, you know, as some of us are part of the Multicultural Advisory Committee, and so thinking about how can we partner with the police in a good way, and that includes we've invited Captain Elder, and he's been gracious to come to one of our meetings to share about the post-training program when we had questions about that, and has always said he'll come anytime we have questions. And then external collaboration has also been a focus, and so that's things like working with the Robbinsdale Historical Society on the Women's History Month event, working with Elam Lutheran Church on multiple events around the community. We've also been working with the Multicultural Advisory Committee on many of these events too, including we're talking about this idea of setting up a series of events around the theme of beloved community with the MAC and other groups that they're partnered with, as well as with Elam. We're again doing that outreach to civic groups, and also looking to our sister cities around in the area to partner with us on events. They partnered with us, Golden Valley, New Hope, Minnetonka, on the Obergefell event, and we in turn also try to go to their events. And Minnetonka in the fall hosted a multiple commission meeting for human rights commissions and diversity, equity, inclusion commissions in the metro area, and so several commissions were represented there, and we always learn a lot from those. So for this spotlight for this, on the collaboration theme, I just wanted to showcase the Women's History Month exhibit that, again, Courtney Kierking really carried the water on, and with a lot of great help and partnership from the Robbinsdale Historical Society, who helped with the research. She featured women from the historical figures, but then also she did a community solicitation process to get nominations from the community about present day people, well, I guess today present and past day women to feature, and put together those wonderful picture boards, which we are talking about bringing back for March this month, also featuring our own council member Mia Parisian here, and that was just a great partnership with the Historical Society, and I hope we're thinking about can we do some more of that. And then with the Obergefell event, again, which was was so awesome to have the partners from the other cities help us. They provided really the funding for the event, but the city of Robbinsdale provided a great space for it, and the AV support and connection. And that event was, of course, about the Obergefell case, and the importance of, which recognized that same-sex marriage is a constitutionally protected right. And we, through connections that our commissioner, Rita Fox, had, were able to bring in Karen Thompson and Patty Bressler to talk about their experiences pre-Obergefell, pre-recognition of same-sex marriage, in trying to support Karen's, essentially her spouse, Sharon Kowalski, who suffered a traumatic accident, and then Karen was basically shut out by Sharon's family for many years and able to care for her because she did not have those protections for their relationship. So just trying to bring home to people that, the law can both help and also get in the way for some of these really important human rights. And then the other bucket of work that we do is with relating to policy recommendations to the City Council. And so, one resolution which is on the agenda later on tonight is this pro-community resolution that we brought to the City Council in the spring, and which was adopted. Was very proud to say on June 17th by all of you. We also have been providing input on the proposed ordinance to ban camping in public places, and that's kind of an ongoing process. We provided some feedback on the proposed equity amendment that was brought by the Charter Commission. We gave feedback on the proposed Code of Respect policy, and then in that vein, we make recommendations related to regional human rights issues going on. And so we see that definitely as part of our job is to bring these policy issues to your attention. And of course, you are the ones who decide what, if any, actions to take on them. But we hope that you view us as a resource to help you feel like you can make good, informed actions. So the spotlight again is this pro-community resolution. I hope that anybody who's watching this in the public will have a chance to read it. We view this as a document that can really serve as a living foundation for current and future actions by the city in support of human rights. In terms of looking forward, so we are thinking both about how do we maintain and sustain the work that we've been doing, like continuing the great community events like the Martin Luther King Breakfast, building those internal and external relationships, connecting with, keeping the connections we have with Robbins Landing and Lilac Parkway, while also building connections with new renter communities. We want to think, related to that, think about how do we do our community outreach better and more, and do more of it. Again, what else can we do to leverage the city's relationships and channels? How do we connect with more of the people around the city? And then we want to create educational resources. One of the things we're working on is a compendium of Know Your Rights resources for people who are recent immigrants. We know there's a lot of good resources out there, so we're not trying to invent the wheel, but we want to help people kind of sort the wheat from the chaff and find the things that could be really useful to them. And then we're also planning an event. We want to put on an event for the community focused on homelessness, the root causes, and to think about what are the things that communities can do to reduce the risk of becoming unhoused, especially in a community like ours where we have a lot of renters, and we know that renters are actually more vulnerable to becoming unhoused, especially when they're low-income renters because of the possibility of eviction. And then Hennepin County has a lot of great resources. They've been doing a lot of work in this area, so we want to make sure people know about those resources. And then part of this work again is about, how do we maintain a good balance between being responsive and trying to take on the pressing issues of the day while recognizing our own capacity. So relating to that, we have our asks, which one, we have 11 spots. I think we have 8 right now. So we would love your help in continuing to recruit members, and we would really like to try to recruit 1 or 2 youth members. And we've been talking with other commissions about that have youth involved and how do they do that. And we'll just throw out there one idea, there's one community that pays a very small stipend. It's like $15, I think, or something like that, for youth to participate. So we would love to be able to talk with options with you about that and think about how can we recruit, maybe through the school district, a Robbinsdale youth to participate. We'd love to have things like name tags or T-shirts, things that can help build our brand and awareness about our brand, our awareness about the HRC and what we do, and little incentive items like stickers or bookmarks, things to give away at the Main Street meet and greet, for example. But related to that, I think is about funding. We'd like to be able to know we have some kind of that we can count on funding for some community events. We would love to be able to have a plan where we have at least one community event per ward, and we believe really to do community engagement well, you have to have food. And so we really want to be able to provide food, and we could partner with groups like the Lions Club has been able, they have some of the equipment and stuff to do pop-up food events. We're not saying we have to buy all that. We would find other partners where maybe we just buy the supplies and they provide the license and the equipment and so forth kind of thing, but we need the ability to get the supplies. We'd also like to be able to have a kind of a showcase event like the Obergefell event, where we can provide a stipend for a kind of a famous or a well-known speaker. A lot of people will do it for a very modest amount or sometimes nothing at all, but we are a strong believer in supporting people who are doing this kind of work and honoring their labor and their time. And we also would love to have support for things like sign language interpretation at every event, because we know you can request it, but a lot of times people don't think to request it, and then if they don't request it in advance, it's not available, and then they're not likely to come. It kind of becomes a spiral then of lack of participation. And then we also would love to have training on facilitating community conversations to support positive social change. We know these are we work in a lot of difficult topics, and a lot of people have strong feelings. There's a lot of emotions. There can be trauma. There can be lots of experiences that generate emotion. So I think it would really help us be more effective if we had a little bit of training in how to engage in those conversations with community members. And then finally, my last ask is just to all of you to ask, like, what are your human rights priorities for in the next year or so? We don't have to hear about it tonight if you need time to think about it, but we'd love a chance to hear from you about what you see are the priorities. So that's what I have. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and also we're here for any questions if you have time to ask us any questions.
Thank you, Julie, and members of the Human Rights Commission. Council, any questions, comments? Councilmember Parisian?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Carlos. And please extend my thanks to the rest of the HRC as well. Really, really appreciate the presentation. I think it is important to highlight the successes that you and your group have achieved over the last year. I think a lot of those come forward to council through the policy recommendations that you make, especially with the adopted pro-community resolution. It's wonderful to see the events that you've put on. I'm glad you called out that you really did do something every month, nearly every month. I noticed that as well. And it's really remarkable for a group of volunteers to pull that off on, using your own time. And I think it is important to acknowledge the risk of burnout with that. I'm glad you named that. And I think while my thanks to you and the council's recognition of you does not fix the issue of burnout, I hope that, in upcoming meetings or outside of meetings, you're able to support each other through that and figure out some tips on how to keep doing this work while balancing that risk of burning out. So thank you for saying that as well. You asked about priorities for 2026. A couple of things that I would love to see continue, especially because I believe Ward 3 has more apartment buildings and multifamily properties than any other ward. So I would love to see the continued outreach to renters and families who live in apartments. Another area of interest for me outside of council, I do work in learning and development. So when you're talking about training opportunities, that's something that I'm very interested in and would be supportive of as well. And then in terms of your other asks, when I look through these, they're very reasonable. And with that being said, I think in terms of direction for staff, what I would like to see or support is a work session discussion on two specific points. One of them discussing what funds we can allocate to not only the HRC, but our other commissions as well. So the council's aware we recently had a similar presentation from the Sustainability Committee, and they had similar asks because they're also operating on essentially non-budget or making do with what they're able to. That's not sustainable. So I would encourage the council to consider what funds we can allocate to these voluntary commissions, I mean, for very basic things like you mentioned, name tags, a banner at an event, a T-shirt, I feel like that's not too much to ask, and it's worth bringing to a work session. The other piece, so I mentioned 2 specific points. The second one is exploring what grant funding is available in 2026. With some very preliminary research, I noticed that the Minnesota Humanities Center had some biennium grant opportunities that I think have since lapsed in the last month or so. But looking ahead to 2026, if there are any opportunities, that's one example. Another one to look into would be the Community Heart and Soul Seed Grant Program, which is one that I discovered through the League of Minnesota Cities site. I think these might be just a couple of funding opportunities that really align with the HRC mission, and I think what the council has deemed as priorities in the recent years. So with all of that, again, I want to come back just to say thank you for the presentation tonight and for all of the work that you and the rest of the commission do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. Any other questions, comments from council? All right.
Yeah, I just want to simply say thank you for this work. I think being my first year in this position and thinking about the importance of human rights and having people to just be mindful and take a deeper look at some of the things we've done throughout this course of this year. And this is such a great presentation to kind of reflect on a lot of the work that's happening. And I think for me, how do you continue to garner more support from the community around this work and this effort? And I think we're in a critical time for sure to be talking more intentionally and speaking more intentionally around this. So those are some of the things that come to mind right away for me. And then also just the youth voice, and not just voice, but truly asking and trying to inquire young people to be invested and to encourage that. I'm all about that. And yeah, I think the way Councilmember Parisian summed that up as far as what we can do as a council and what we can do as a city to really put some effort towards like financially and in places that we can support. I think we can figure that out. And yeah, I second figuring out something that we can do in that regard. Yeah, and overall, like I said, I'll continue to think about other things as well too as they come up for me as priorities for the HRC and kind of what you have going on. But I like the list right now that you have and kind of what direction you're headed. So thank you again, and I appreciate your team.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Councilmember White.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for that presentation. Thank you for your work on the HRC. Yeah, I just agree with everything my colleagues just said. I think it's some really fantastic stuff. And when I think about the priorities, it's kind of just recognizing that it's like oftentimes like you all are the ones that are informing my own priorities when it comes to this. But as I was kind of thinking up here, I think having some kind of event or just start thinking about ways to tie in human rights with maybe our other commissions. Like we had, like when it comes to like our park system and the Parks and Rec and Forestry Commission. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, we had some baseball fields converted to softball fields, and I think it seems maybe kind of material on its face, but it really, I think, had a really deeper meaning for me about having the parks be accessible for everybody, regardless of what sports you play or what gender you are. And so something like that would be great. I think when it comes to public transit and human rights, that's something that's of interest to me. And so if there's any ideas there that can be generated from that kind of conversation, I know Metro Transit has a lot of community events, and tying in with them could be fruitful. But yeah, I love the ideas, and thank you for the presentation.
Councilmember Greenberg.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. And I'm excited to take part in the MLK celebration in January. I was there earlier this year, which seems so long ago. But anyway, that was great. And it was heartwarming to see the video. So thanks for that as well. You kind of mentioned the youth piece and maybe getting, involvement from the school district, and I think that's something that I would like to see just in general is engagement with the school districts or with the school district, and not only just helping you connect with potentially finding members and ways to utilize their resources, but I think also just show another facet to engage Robbinsdale area schools from a city perspective. I think there's a lot going on there that it would be great to have your attention brought to it. And I guess along with that, you mentioned you met with the Chamber of Commerce. I think just like maybe engaging with individual businesses. We have so many local businesses that are always looking for opportunities to work with the city and engage in ways. So I think that might be another way to do outreach, but also get more fully engaged with our community, our local business community. Talking about funding and resources, which they're limited within the city. So I love the idea of finding grants and other ways to help bring resources to the table. But I was also thinking about, doing fundraisers, not only as a way to generate money for the HRC for your events and things like that, but I think it's also a great way to get people to care about what the HRC is doing. And so it's kind of like a win-win in the sense that I don't think the expectation would be that you're on your own. You need to find all your own funding. It's not my suggestion. I think there are ways we can do things and hopefully find some resources for not only the HRC but all of our commissions. But I think in addition, that engagement to the community, those fundraisers, it is a way to make people feel connected to what's going on with the HRC. So thought of that as an idea. I guess one thing just as far as priorities or some feedback that I feel like there's so many great things going on. There's a lot of good events, but it would be helpful. I know you bring a lot of things to our attention as far as, like you said, regional issues, local issues too. But just understanding, I think, which communities within Robbinsdale are at most risk or are active, what are our largest populations that are being discriminated against and how. And I know we've had conversations about how individuals sometimes aren't as willing to have those conversations because they don't want to bring attention. They don't want to rock the boat. And I absolutely understand that. And I feel like that might be an opportunity for the HRC, just to not only give feedback to the council, but help us understand where do we need to put more attention as a city. And again, that is in addition. You're doing a lot of that work already. It's not to say oh, well, you haven't done anything and so you need to do this, but just, I think that's one thing of feedback that I don't have context on of it's more of, each individual instance that we hear the feedback as opposed to overall when we look at what's going on. And then I will say earlier this year you and I talked about getting engaged in the Beach South community, which is in Ward 2, and I did try to get in touch with them and failed, so I have to redouble my efforts there, but that's something that I would really like to make happen in 2026.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Greenberg. I like the idea around fundraising. There's a few local groups who do it pretty well. I think of the Lions, who started out with but they were just a handful of people not that long ago. And now it's this powerhouse volunteer organization that is just raising money left and right. So they inject fun into what they do. And I think, there's people out there that that don't know you exist that would probably love to join. And so I think that's a great way to get people active. With regards to everything that's set up here, so definitely on board for a work session to talk about. I would love to see also what other cities similar sized are doing, so we can put it in context. Next year is a year we're supposed to really kind of watch our dollars right? So, but I do like the idea of thinking of creative ways to get you guys what you need for resources. I wouldn't mind, actually, I would like to see a quantified, so Jason, you kind of touched on this, but like, I want to see the community feedback quantified and qualified a bit. So you said it, I heard you talk about it, you guys were out there and you know, engaging with the community, but I would like to know, like, how many people attended this event? How many people have you heard from? Like, what are the topics people are saying? Like, just kind of, like, I would love to see a dashboard because I'm a data person that just helps me appreciate, and I think would actually help residents appreciate too, just, you know, these aren't people that maybe you're thinking of every day, but, you know, there are people who are being discriminated against, or there are people who need help, or, you know, we've got a situation where there's no park benches, you know, anything. It just helped me surround that with data to help tell the story. And it would be great to just see that in next year's presentation, just the conversations that you've had. You don't have to give me names, but just how many, what was the category, like the number of people that attended the events, etc. If you had goals, you know, what were the goals and how did you guys do against those goals? Also, as I look at the goals and I think of the goals that you guys set out, you know, advancing equity, it would be helpful for me and probably others, like, what does that mean? Like, what's the baseline? You know, what's the why behind that, and where are we trying to get to, and how will we measure that, and what's the time that we're looking at? And so those are things that would help me, and I'm sure it would help others, and I think it would just help this organization too, then quantify the asks that you guys are asking of us. Like, look, we're doing this good work, we can't get there because we don't have the resources, we don't have the reach. So, and I'm on board, obviously, with the city, assisting with communications. So, super grateful for the time. I put the MLK breakfast, I was regretful I didn't make it last year. The Oberfeld event was great for the part that I stayed for, and so I'd like to be at the breakfast and be at some more of these events in the future, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right. It was a good presentation. Next up, we have public hearings. First, the public hearing, fines on Broadway consignment and secondhand good licenses, 4180 West Broadway.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So as your final meeting of the year here, you have in front of you a series of updates, annual updates, including a set of public hearings here. These are specific to code. Some people may ask the question, there are certain types of licenses that renewals do not require public hearings, certain renewals do. Really all that guidance for us is provided by code here. So again, as noted, starting with fines on Broadway, a consignment secondhand good license does require, even in the circumstance of a renewal, a public hearing. Staff's recommendation is to open the public hearing, take feedback, close the public hearing, and then discuss any questions, comments, or concerns with staff. At this point, staff is recommending approval ultimately for the consignment and secondhand goods license for Celeste, Shahidi, DBA, fines on Broadway at 4180.
Excellent. Second, if there's more, and you're all right. Okay. Council, any questions or comments or motions to open the public hearing?
I will make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, the public hearing is open.
Seeing none, I motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, public hearing is closed. Is there another motion? Or a question?
Was that a comment?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I guess I just want to just thank them for staying another year in Robbinsdale and for being a part of our community. So happy to support this.
Yeah, you know what, Aaron, actually, good call out. Thank you for your business. I mean, honestly, that was very important that you're here. I hear great things, and I've been in there as well. So I'm glad they're wanting to remain in the community. With that, can we have a motion?
I move that we approve the move to approve of a consignment and secondhand goods 2026 licenses for Celeste M. Sahadini, butchered that, DBA Fines on Broadway for 4180 West Broadway.
Second.
I want to thank you for your bravery on that, Aaron. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Congratulations for Fines on Broadway. That's great. All right. Next up, we have a public hearing for Pawn America, pawnbroker, and second-hand good licenses at 4134 West Broadway.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, again, similarly per your city code, public hearing is required for the renewal. You can see as a part of the memorandum stated here, all background checks, including work with the police department, has been completed. Annual investigation found no issues. Staff recommends holding and closing the public hearing and then consider approval for the 2026 pawnbroker and secondhand good license for Pawn America, Minnesota, LLC at 4134 West Broadway.
Council, is there any questions, comments, or is there a motion?
Move we open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Public hearing is open.
Doesn't look like we have anyone, so I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Public hearing is closed. All right. Any other questions, comments, or is there a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the 2026 pawnbroker and secondhand goods licenses for Pawn America, Minnesota, LLC at 4134 West Broadway.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. All right. Approved. Moving on. Next up under public hearings is the public hearing for Fly Vintage and Vinyl LLC consignment and secondhand good licenses, 3900 36th Avenue North.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, the final in your series of public hearings tonight. Again, a renewal for Fly Vintage. Staff has provided a bit of background here. Continues to be a good business in town. Staff's recommendation is to hold and close the public hearing and consider approval of a consignment and secondhand good license for Betsy K. Rupert Khan and Daniel Sungtak Rupert Khan, DBA Fly Vintage and Vinyl LLC, 3900 36th Avenue North.
Council, any comments, questions before we hold the public hearing? Or is there a motion?
A motion to hold the public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, public hearing is open.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Public hearing is closed. Any comments, questions, or motions before approval?
Make a comment. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just thank you again to this business for being a part of our community and for making your home here and doing another year with us. It's great to have this business. It's almost kind of the edge of the business zone when it comes to Robbinsdale. So it's kind of in a unique spot, and people should check it out.
Excellent.
I will also make a comment, and I just want to mention that it is one of the best places in the Twin Cities to buy used records, and it's a great place to shop.
It's a fun spot. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consignment and secondhand goods 2026 licenses for Betsy K. Rupert Khan and Daniel Sung Tak Rupert Khan, DBA Fly Vintage and Vinyl LLC, 3900 36th Avenue North.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, so let it be written. So let it be done. On to old business. Consider a letter of community support.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So what I intend to do, provide sort of a brief introduction to the item. I'm sure Council has plenty to share. For those in the audience and watching at home, at the at the December 9th, 2025 City Council work session, Council discussed conceptually issuing a letter of community support. What staff was able to take from that 45-minute or so conversation, really robust, thoughtful conversation, was to highlight a couple of items in what has been attempted to put forward in the letter that we've drafted up for you for your consideration here tonight. Some highlights from that include on June 17th, 2025, the City of Robbinsdale issued a resolution affirming the commitment to welcoming and serving all people in the community. City of Robbinsdale adamantly objects to continued hostile rhetoric used by elected officials, especially directed at already marginalized communities. And then, as outlined in part, a statement from Hennepin County Police Departments, including the Robbinsdale Police Department, remain steadfast in commitment to serve and protect everyone in our communities, regardless of immigration status. Effective policing cannot be accomplished without community trust, and that means every person should feel empowered to seek help, report crimes, and engage with local law enforcement. So again, staff drafted this letter up, taking guidance from the conversation here at the work session last week, and I'm sure Council has discussion points they'd like to share out here before moving forward with any consideration.
Thank you, Tim. Council, any comments, questions, or motions to be made? Yes, Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff. I wanted to first show a lot of gratitude for taking the direction out of our work session discussion last week and drafting this letter with a sense of urgency. And I think not only that, but the translation efforts that have been made for the pro-community resolution into Hmong, Spanish, and Somali. Thank you for that as well. I also wanted to extend my thanks once again to the HRC for raising these important concerns that impact our neighbors, especially those who are a part of marginalized communities. And I believe that this letter is a good example of how our advisory commissions can be a catalyst for action and advocacy in the appropriate leadership and communication channels. So I am very pleased with how the letter is written. I support this letter as it is written, and I'm happy to help further advocate and amplify this message to our congressional representatives. So thank you.
Comments from the council? Councilmember Wagner.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Parisian. Yeah, again, thank you to the HRC for advocating for this. Thank you, staff, for coming up with language out of our very lengthy discussion about it. So that's no easy feat to do, and I appreciate the time that you took with it. And I support it as is, and happy to, as Councilmember Parisian so correctly said, happy to advocate these issues with our representatives at the federal level who this letter will be going to.
Okay. Councilmember Blackwell?
Yeah, real brief. Thank you for all the words. I echo everything my fellow councilors just said already. And once again, just appreciate HRC and not only raising this up, but allowing us a really intentional, meaningful conversation and dialogue around how we can best show up and support our community. So thank you. And I just want to say thank you to the council too for engaging in that dialogue. It speaks volumes. And like I said, it wasn't a quick once over. It was very in depth, very intentional, and we spent time really digging into some issues and opportunities.
Yes, Councilmember Greenberg.
I will, thank you. I will echo that as well. Thank you to everyone involved in the conversation in our work session on Tuesday. I just thought it was a really in-depth and heartfelt conversation. And I do support the tone, the letter as it is. I really think that it strikes the right tone of what we were trying to get after. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And I also want to thank council for a robust discussion. I appreciate the HRC bringing this to our attention. I am still not in favor of putting us in the federal arena I believe our responsibility is to turn around and look inward at our residents and our community and let them know that we care and we still support them. And I hope that this letter is meaningful to people in the community and all members of the community who might see us write this. I do appreciate and support the tone of this letter, and will support signing it. But I just felt it's important to just again stress that we are a local entity, nonpartisan. Our job is to take care of our residents and not pick fights. So, and this is just, I know this could be misconstrued as not picking a fight. I don't want to use the wrong words here, but I just again want to reaffirm that this council cares, the city cares. Nothing has changed, not since I've been elected as mayor, and nor do I expect that to ever change. So for those members who are listening in the community, you are always welcome here, and you may always contact me directly if you have questions, concerns, or comments. My door is always open. So with that, is there a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve and adopt the letter to our congressional representatives as written in the letter of community support dated December 16th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. All right, that approved. Do you want us to sign now or wait until after the?
We can do after.
Okay,
We'll pass them out.
that's what we'll do. Move things along. All right. Next on old business are updates to the employee handbook.
Mayor, council members, good evening. Joanna Brooks, Human Resources Manager for the City of Robbinsdale. So every year we update our employee handbook with changes because of new laws or because of practices or language that we want to change as we work with the handbook throughout the year. And there's a few notable changes that I want to make you aware of tonight, so I'll walk you through those in the order that they appear in the handbook. And I know Tim touched on some of these at the work session, so forgive me if you've heard some of this before. So the first update that I'd like to talk about is a change to the eligibility for a lunch break, and this is due to state law, update in state law that says that employees should be eligible for lunch break after working for 6 hours. Previously, the city policy was 6.5 hours, so some changes are big and some are little. This is one of the littler ones. The next policy change that we have is kind of one of our more heavy hitters. This is the introduction of Minnesota paid leave. And a few talking points on that. Starting January 1st, there's a new state law in effect, and this applies to the vast majority of employers and employees in Minnesota. It provides job protection and income for families, for employees who need time off for health or safety reasons for themselves or their family members. So it's a really great benefit for our workers in Minnesota. It is funded by premiums, which are shared between the employee and the employer. We are ready to roll it out on January 1st. We made all the required notifications and postings. The city has selected MetLife to be our plan administrator. There's several insurance companies that are offering to administer this, as well as a state-run plan. MetLife offered us assurance of a faster turnaround for payouts for claims on the plan, and have a lot of experience with other states that have a similar plan. So that's why we landed with them. Just for your own information, elected officials are also eligible for Minnesota paid leave through your employment with the city. And the policy is in your packet, and you can read that at your leisure. We had some guidance from the LMC on creating our policy, so that's what we'll be adding to our handbook. The third item here has to do with how we administer holiday pay, just simplifying how folks are eligible to earn holidays if they're part-time or work irregular schedules, and just improving the definitions of prorating for our part-time employees so they know how their holiday pay will be prorated. Our next item here has to do with volunteer time off. So a couple of years ago, the city created an opportunity for employees to use 8 hours of time, either during the workday or, to be credited back to them if they were working outside of hours to do some volunteer work. And there was a little bit of confusion about when employees were doing work for a city-sponsored event. So, for example, we could say like Pets in the Park or Boo Bash. If a city employee was from a different department than Recreation, for example, who runs those events, wanted to participate, if that was counted as their volunteer time off, we decided that going forward, those hours would count as part of their paid work. And so they could use the volunteer time off for working with organizations outside the city that were important to them, or that they felt, were in need of their volunteer time. And we also think it just provides a bit of development opportunities for our staff and some variety in their work. So happy to add that option for them. Our fifth update that's on your list here has to do with unpaid leave of absence. We didn't have any language in the handbook about if documentation from a medical provider was needed for unpaid leave of absence. When the ESST law came into effect last year, they really limited the ability of the city to require medical documentation for folks who were using paid leave. And that was to reduce the burden on people that are, dealing with health issues in their own life. So that can be a positive change, but with unpaid leave, there are times when we can offer that to an employee who's having, one of those situations, medical or safety situations, but it does have negative knock-on effects, both for the employee and the employer. So we really want to be careful about when we allow that and make sure that we have that documentation behind there. And then the last item that I'd like to talk about is our paid time off policy. And again, that's kind of a longer piece that is in your packet, but just a few things to know about that. Our three, anything having to do with paid time off needs to go through negotiations. And so earlier this year, when we decided we wanted to create an opportunity to merge our sick and vacation banks into one more flexible bank of time off that employees could use, we knew that we had to take those through negotiations. So our three largest unions have agreed to offer it through negotiations. We have a tentative agreement or an agreement on the PTO. The other two we're meeting with next week. We expect that they will also be offering this to their members. There is an opt-out clause within the policy so that anybody who had been planning their retirement or planning their leave under the old system can continue to do so. But so far, out of the 90 employees that we've sent out that election form to so they could choose whether to opt out or stay in, only 5 have opted out. So we think that means that we did a good job creating a plan that's going to suit both the employee and the employer needs. We have several of our neighboring cities, Golden Valley and Plymouth, St. Louis Park, Hopkins, and there's some more cities that are working on it, and part of that is because of that additional protection from Minnesota paid family leave kind of takes away that need to have a larger bank of just sick leave hours. So we're happy to be part of that. Yeah, so I think that's it for my updates, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on this or any other human resources questions.
Thank you, Joanna. Council, any questions? Councilmember Wagner.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Joanna. Glad to see the volunteer time off in there still, and that it's being strengthened with that policy update. My one question was, when it comes to the unpaid leave, do we have in the handbook either maybe a link or like direction to where to find information about FMLA, because that seems, I mean, from my brief read of it, it seems kind of the same. So I just don't know. I was just curious how we direct employees to that.
Yep, we
resource.
do have, we have a section in our handbook on FMLA, and we really encourage our employees, if we know that they're going to be out for over 3 days, to apply for FMLA, just for the job protections that it brings along. Now, the FMLA does not come with pay, and so an employee who's out on FMLA needs to use their sick leave or vacation leave, or in the future the PTO, which is different than Minnesota paid family leave, which does come with income on a sliding a sliding scale. And those two things do interact, and sometimes you can qualify for one and not another. So I guess the long and the short of it is that it's a good time to be a worker in Minnesota because you have access to these things.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you.
Councilmember Greenberg.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you for the presentation and all the updates and the work that went into providing those updates. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I have a question, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just looking left and right to make sure like nobody else did, sorry. I was looking at the PTO accrual, and I just want to make sure I understand that right. So it's 200 hours?
200 hours. Mm-hmm.
So 5 weeks. Is that my math right? I shouldn't do math in public. Right.
I don't have it in front of me.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks.
So for our newest employees who are just hired into the city, in our current arrangement, they have 12 days of sick leave. So they earn one day of sick leave per month, and then they have 10 days of vacation. So that totals to 22 days. And so with the PTO, we did want to offer some incentive for employees to join that plan, and then so we added an additional 24 hours to that that initial bank of time, so that they would have 3 more days. This kind of really is a result of some feedback that we got from some of our applicants when they. Well, I'm thinking, I think there were 2 in particular that actually had to decline a job offer because we didn't offer them enough vacation, in particular vacation. And we have had, other applicants who wanted to negotiate that right away before accepting an offer. And so we really had this sense that we were not competitive in that area, and also comparing our time off to other cities, neighboring cities. We used that data to kind of craft what we could offer. So we are really, we don't offer the most, we don't offer the least, but we think we are going to be more competitive there as far as time off benefits.
Okay, great. And that's whether, regardless of experience, first year you get 5 weeks.
Well, it is possible to negotiate into a higher vacation tier, but it can be, it's frustrating to be lowballed if you're an applicant and with experience, and it is. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to combine those sick and vacation balances, is because our younger workers, presumably, not always, but are in better health and maybe don't need as much time off for illness or doctor's visits, but they don't get as much vacation, and so it can, we want to allow them more flexibility in the way that they use their time.
Cool. I think it's great, especially if we're competitive with neighboring cities. So that's good to know. I'm in the private sector, not in the public sector, my day by day. So I was like, whoa, all right. I'm having a conversation with my employer. But no, it's very generous. And I know that Robbinsdale is a great place to work. What might be kind of cool in an upcoming work session would be to talk about like a end of year talent report. Like how is our staff doing? Like what's our turnover, open head count, what our time to hire rate is. I would just love to see some of that data, being somebody who's from that industry and kind of a nerd about it. But it's just good to know, like, talent-wise, how our city's health is doing. We know how the finances are doing. I'd like to see talent health. So it's just something to talk about maybe in a future work session, or maybe we don't need to get involved and you guys can talk about it. But I'll take your direction on that at a later time. So, okay? All right. Excellent. Thank you, Joanna. That was great.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, if there are no other questions or comments from staff, I will make a motion to accept the recommended updates to the employee handbook.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. All right, updates approved. Thank you again. Thank you, Mia, for the motion. All right, on to new business. So preservation of qualifying census tract for low-income housing tax credit and preliminary conduit bond financing for potential affordable housing project at 3839 Lakeview Avenue North.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
It
That's
really
a terrible
is.
title. I'm
There
so
should be a
sorry.
comma in there.
But that's really what's going on tonight. So there are actually two resolutions. And again, they're very wordy. I will say they are drafted by the bond counsel for the city, so that might have something to do with it. But I hope that they were clear. And I'd like to explain to our residents and also answer your questions as to the actions that are contained thereof. My name is Heather Rand. I am the Community Development Director for the City of Robbinsdale. The two resolution action items that we are requesting our City Council approve tonight will, if approved, enable a housing developer who has experience, thank goodness, to work with the city in 2026 or 2027 to pursue the development of a brand new affordable housing apartment building, we call them, a multifamily building, at the location of 38, what is it? Yeah, 3839. Thank you. Lakeland Avenue. Currently, the Mai Tai restaurant is there. It's very possible this developer, over the course of the next year to 2 years, would acquire adjoining parcels that could become part of the project as well. And you will notice me and in the resolutions, we use words like preliminary because this is the first baby step towards us having the conversation with the developer and them doing their due diligence so that a project could move forward at this location or thereabouts, is some language we use. The reason why we're asking you to take the action tonight in this very preliminary stage is because the developer, in working with the city, we learned that census tracts over time, due to census updates, they change, and in this case, the number of low-income residents, and a lot of that data basically qualifies a census tract within a community as to if it can qualify for what is called low-income housing tax credits. So the developer brought to our attention that this property falls within a census tract, and in fact, there are others along Botno Boulevard to the west where that qualifying nature of having low-income housing tax credits as an option falls off on December 31st of this year. So the action that we're asking you to take tonight, a couple of resolutions, again, enable us or the developer, but us working with the developer, to apply for those low-income housing tax credits in the future. And a related action would be that the developer, in working with the city, will apply to the Minnesota Office of Management and Budget for some conduit bonds, revenue bonds, that again will make their project ultimately, if they're successful, be more affordable because the financing rates for their project are more affordable due to the bonds and the tax credits. So I think it might sound unusual, but that's why we had to invite our bond counsel from Kennedy and Graven in to advise us. This does happen from time to time throughout our Twin Cities and community, and actually elsewhere throughout the nation. It's HUD and IRS rules that determine these tax credits, and then they are working in Minnesota in concert with the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency and the state statute rules. And then the Office of Management and Budget is actually the entity in Minnesota that issues the bonds. So again, back to the action tonight. There is the first resolution. The title, it says resolution providing preliminary approval to the issuance of revenue bonds under Minnesota Statute Chapter 402C and 474A as amended for the benefit of Valair Development Company or an affiliate or a successor or an assign, and taking other actions. And as you go through the resolution, though, again, what you would be doing if you approve this tonight is granting that preliminary approval for the issuance of the revenue bonds. You might have noticed as you read through the resolution and its attachments, even though the applicant, Valair Development in this case, has submitted for our bond counsel to review, and it's in your packet, an actual OMB, or Minnesota Office of Management and Budget, application for that bonding. They can't submit until such time that we have a public hearing in 2026 or 2027 and have additional dialogue. But again, to preserve the opportunity, we had to have this in front of you tonight with this resolution, or that opportunity closes on December 31st. So what I'm trying to say, if I'm not clear, is there will be many additional steps. Let's also talk about the additional steps when it comes to land use zoning for a project like this. There would be a rezoning, which would be a public hearing in the future. There would likely be variances. There would likely be perhaps a plat change. I'm just trying to bring up to you, and there would be a development agreement. So none of that has occurred yet. There will still be the opportunity for the developer to get in front of us and explain exactly what they want to do, and for our public and our city council and our planning commission to give input. But again, we're just trying to preserve that opportunity for this two-pronged approach to make the financing of such a project, if it does move forward, more affordable, which will translate to more affordable rents, i.e. affordable housing. The second resolution refers to the council, authorizing or approving what our attorney is suggesting we need to do. It's an execution of a qualifying census tract preservation letter. This is a letter that actually you noticed in your packet. It's drafted to the developer so that they can use that with their application and demonstrate that you've taken this action, again, on a preliminary basis to keep that opportunity alive with respect to the low-income housing tax credits and the bonding. I will tell you that Kennedy and Graven, Peter Martin, who drafted all this and worked with staff and the developer, does recommend approval, and that's why that's in your packet. Should this project move forward, you will be seeing him instead of me in front of you, or we'll have a public hearing, hopefully someday, and talk about the bond application and a few other legal points. But for now, we were hoping this would suffice. He suggests that the application that has been submitted and is in your packet is, he says, substantially complete to the extent that he's legally confident that you can approve it. I wanted to make mention that Marty O'Connell is in the audience tonight. He is with MFW Properties, doing business as Valair Development. Valair has constructed over 55, I believe it is, projects in the Twin Cities and Rochester areas that are affordable and or senior housing. This is their niche. I will tell you, they have a good reputation for doing so. I would look forward to working with them. They've been lovely to work with thus far. So I'm hopeful we can continue our discussion and dialogue, but we're just not ready yet to get into specifics. There will be time for that, hopefully in 2026. So with that, we'll stand for questions. And I'm going to apologize for Mr. Martin trying to be so thorough with his legal verbiage here, but I trust that he knows what he's doing.
Appreciate that, Heather. Thank you. Council, any questions, comments, or motions?
Yeah. Mine's a very basic question. So if this were to go through this timeline as far as how long it would take to build a project of this size, take to build and to completion, if and when things happen and take place.
Yes. If I could, Mr. Mayor, and then Councilor Blackledge, the developer is hopeful that they would be able to apply for bonds, meaning have this project farther enough along within the next 12 months. Let's say they get their bonding allocation and the tax credits that come with that. And we talk about, we use words like entitlement at the city, but they go through their planning and zoning actions and development agreements with the city. I think, in an ideal world, that would take about a year, 6 months minimum. And then typically a project like this, in my experience, it takes about 18 months or longer to construct, but you shoot for 18 months. Okay? I hope that helps.
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
Yes?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, this is a very intriguing project. I'm happy to see that there's interest in doing this here. I think it's really important that we have affordable housing in Robbinsdale. As been alluded to by the HRC earlier this evening, the renter community continues to grow, and we should support them. And a project like this, I think, does that, and it brings literally more people into our great city. I would be curious, since the developer did show up, I would just entertain a question to him about other successful, if you can give an example of a successful project you've done, I would love to hear that. And then how you see once the building is built, if this happens, how you see your relationship with the city going forward from that. Do you plan on maintaining ownership of it or something different? And then also just kind of how you envision this project and what kind of drew you to the space. Those are 3 questions, but I'd love to get your thoughts on all of that.
Absolutely. So my name is Marty O'Connell. I'm with obviously the developer Fuller Development Company. So thanks, Mayor and Council, for this project that was introduced to you by Heather here today. Just quick background. We've done a little over 50 developments, 3,500 units in our company's history. We're founded in the year 1999, and we're locally based. So we're in Richfield, Minnesota. So we've done a lot of work within the Twin Cities area in Rochester, Minnesota. It's almost all rent and income restricted affordable housing. And a lot of that development has occurred over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Some of it's non-age restricted, some of it's senior age restricted housing. Just at a high level, we have an in-house property management group, so Valair Property Management, which we share office space with. The development that we're proposing here today, it's going to be required to be affordable for minimum 30-year period, and is a part of the kind of low-income housing tax credit program, which is the primary financing behind this development. Will be required to own it for a minimum of a 15-year period, although oftentimes we own and operate our properties much longer than that. So once that 15-year period is up, we'll look to resyndicate, which just means getting additional tax credits to kind of rehab the property, if you will, and extend that ownership and affordability period. Some successful projects that we've done, a lot of the stuff we've done is kind of in the suburban Twin Cities area. So the closest developments that we've kind of done to Robbinsdale, although we haven't worked in the city of Robbinsdale before, the closest stuff to here would be, we've done a couple projects up in Mounds View, Minnesota. One is called Villas of Mounds View. It's a senior-oriented building off of Interstate 35 and Highway 10. Also Boulevard Apartments, which is kind of along Mounds View Boulevard, just kind of a mile down the road. Garland Commons, which is a little over 160 units up in Maple Grove, off of basically Maple Grove Parkway and Interstate 94. we've done a lot of stuff in the South Metro, so Bloomington, Burnsville, those areas. But I think we could point to a lot of our developments across the Twin Cities being successful. The other thing I would like to mention is just, especially because we are a long-term owner, operator, and we have an in-house property management group, Valair Property Management, that we share office space with. It's really important to us that we, operate our properties really efficiently, and that if any, issues arise or anything, that we address them really quickly, and that we have good communication with the city and stakeholders in the community. We want to obviously provide the highest quality housing as possible as a part of our developments, because we're obligated to own them long term, right? So the success of our residents ultimately deems our success on our side as a company as well. And we want to continue to do development throughout the Twin Cities, and reputation follows you around from community to community. So it's important that, we bring forth the best possible proposal as we can, and that, hopefully one day this project does come to fruition. Obviously, again, this is very preliminary at this point, but hopefully it does come to fruition, and we can have a really good working relationship with the community and the city.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm heartened to hear that that you plan to be here long term if the project does come through. And yeah, I think just as I was saying before, or maybe just to add on what I was saying before, we're a fully developed city, so opportunities like this, projects like this, don't cross our desk as often as I would like. So I'm really glad to see you here today, and thank you again to Heather and staff for getting this in front of us. So I'm happy to support this and excited to see what happens with this.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Councilmember Wagner, for those questions, and thank you also for being here this evening to entertain those answers. I'm also very pleased to see some potential affordable housing projects come to council, and I am supportive of these preliminary approvals. I think that similar to what the HRC had talked about, I know Councilmember Wagner mentioned that as well, but again, really happy to see some affordable housing options come to the council. So with that, happy to support this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Couple different questions. First of all, thank you for the presentation, and thank you for being here tonight. I guess just around the bond, through the budget conversations we just had, there was talk of, taking a pause on bonding. And I know that we're not issuing a bond right now. But we have projects in our city for residents that exist today that need bonds that we put on hold. And I'm just wondering, it's like we're looking to approve bonding. Is this, there's some unique relationships, I guess is the best word, but this isn't just like a typical bond because it's going towards the development of affordable housing. But I guess I'm just wondering, if we approve, if we move forward with this and we do end up doing the bonding, it is just it's a bond, or maybe you could address some of that.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, and Ms. Ram, please feel free to back me up if I miss anything. At a high level, what we're discussing here tonight is keeping the door open for conduit bonding. I think what you're referencing is more typical to a GO or a general obligation type of bonding. Yep. This is not something where we talk about debt servicing, taking on additional debt at the city level. This is an option or an opportunity that's provided through state statute to certain qualifying nonprofit organizations. There's I'd say that the biggest thing for the city to consider is there can be a maximum amount of conduit bonding that can be issued through the mechanism specific to the city. So this doesn't exceed that. This doesn't take you out of consideration for utilizing conduit bonding for other entities should those occasions arise. But again, I want to make very clear, this isn't something that would add to like your debt servicing. This is this group doing bonding through an authority that requires the city essentially to sign off on the process.
Nope, that's super helpful. Thank you for clarifying that. And I knew there was a reason why it was called a conduit bond as opposed to. Anyway, I wanted to verify that. The other question that I had is that, like, you know, so if we did move forward with this type of a project, is this something that like comes up for tax increment financing as well, in addition to backing up or being there to help with this conduit bond?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and members of the council know that is not being considered for this project. Okay. There are some other funding sources, though, that we do want to explore over the next year. One is that anti-displacement community prosperity funding, because this is along the light rail. Hennepin County may have some affordable housing type funding as well that we would like to pursue with this type of developer.
And then one last
Yeah,
question.
no, go ahead.
Sorry. You know, just thinking about the comprehensive plan, I know that this was a parcel that's on the list for, you know, more for redevelopment and, you know, a higher density use. Do we know if the business owner, is this something that they're a proponent of, or like what is their position in this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Councilor Greenberg. While there is not yet a letter of intent, the developer did approach the owners of the Mai Tai property, and they are supportive, as I understand it, of us exploring this concept. And in fact, we have encouraged the development team to also be knocking on the doors and having conversations with parcel owners that are adjacent. It's always more efficient to, you know, have a larger project. For a variety of reasons, economies of scale. And so we will continue to encourage the developer to explore. And that's why we use some language in this resolution about with the address of the parcel, but we said, or thereabouts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Council, any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, so is there a motion here?
Mr. Mayor, I will move that we, I will move that we approve the resolution providing preliminary approval for the issuance of bonds for a potential affordable housing project at 3839 Lakeland Avenue North. Staff, may I make a motion for both, or would you prefer separate motions? For both, okay. And then within that motion, also to approve the resolution approving the form and execution of qualifying census tract preservation letter.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no or nay. That is approved. And that is exciting. Thank you. Very exciting. Okay. Next, we have legislative priorities, 2026 legislative priorities.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So what you have before you here are the proposed 2026 legislative priorities. A number of these items are things that we've been discussing in recent history, last couple of months. Some are items that we've been discussing last couple of years. Year-to-year legislative agendas take some things on, some things get removed, some things get carried. So some those maybe paying attention will recall a few of these from years past. But what staff wants to do is to walk through some of these, see if there are specific questions, comments, or concerns about any that we're proposing. And if there are items that council wants to share consensus on for additions or consideration, we can certainly do that tonight, or if that's something as we get into the legislative session, we can certainly discuss. Of course, items in a session come and go. Some pop up. Sometimes staff will come to you for direction if it's something that we're looking to voice support on, or otherwise. So certainly, as the ebbs and flows of the session go, it will be an ongoing conversation. But to start, the first item you've got in the packet here, you can see the communications team has put together something much nicer than I could ever put together in a memo format. Public Works facility is number one. This is something that council is able to go up and take a tour of. Going back several years, the facility's been in your capital improvement plan as an identified structure facility needing replacement. In reality, a 1950s vintage, just a facility that's we've outgrown. Quite literally, some pieces of equipment don't fit. Our mechanics bay cannot operate on certain types of vehicles, even simple fixes. So just efficiencies are lost. That combined with utilities, HVAC, et cetera, continue to fail. We're at a point where continuing to slap a Band-Aid on is just not good use of taxpayer dollars. So we put in an ask with the state bonding for facilitating a purchase. This, of course, would come with other type of financing, but it's on the radar. We're doing initial legwork, and that ask is out there. And both representatives at the Senate and at the representative level are aware. The second item we have, PFAS. Much like other areas where sometimes the state or other agencies may come down and share new thresholds, new guidance, certain standards that we're required to meet, we're certainly supportive of, but we recognize that this comes with a certain cost. Council will recall that you approved accepting of more than $2 million to do research on what mitigation for PFAS might look like. We certainly expect mitigation costs to exceed that. What we want to do is keep our foot in the door for those conversations and continue to advocate for cities like Robbinsdale who treat their water, saying that if we're going to have to meet the thresholds that you're proposing, you help us pay for it. Those are good conversations, again, by way of reminding those watching at home. The grant I just mentioned, that's a part of these types of conversations. So again, keeping that in the forefront is important. The city continues to advocate for the authority to franchise broadband internet service providers. Really two pieces to this. As broadband and fiber continue to roll out in communities, staff, and we've heard council support this, believe that broadband is no longer a want, it's a need. Whether you work at home, go to school at home, it's essentially a utility, and because of that, we believe that broadband and fiber should be provided to all areas of town, not just those determined by the providers. Further, we believe that continued access and utilization of city right-of-way, much like other utilities, should be something that we should be able to franchise, and a part of that franchise would include working towards similar concepts related to PEG fees. And you can think of how that's worked out with our Northwest Cable Communications team, or as some people know them, CCX. So we'll continue to advocate for that. This is a bill that we've been partners with the last couple of years at the legislature, and we will watch as that goes. Staff will be bringing forward a local option sales tax resolution to council here in January. Again, there's a certain set of benchmarks that need to happen for this to be considered. We're required to get something in front of both tax committees before the end of January, so that resolution will happen either at the first or second meeting. We've shared out some of what the initial study looks like, what the proposal would include. The local option sales tax would largely go towards two facilities, one the public works facility already discussed, and a potential for a parks building at Sanborn Park. The progress would include approval to move forward in the process again at the legislative level. Fast forward a number of steps that would be required to go to a referendum. So this is something that does require heavy community involvement. So it's no short task, but again, with the recent moratorium at the legislature being lifted, staff is recommending this as an alternative revenue source. Congregate care is an item that continues to play a disproportionate role in the northwest suburbs, both by way of housing stock, affordability, and for a few other reasons. The congregate care, we see a number of, or a higher percentage of concentration, again, in the northwest suburbs. We continue to work with our neighbors, including Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, Crystal, New Hope, in Golden Valley to collectively advocate. I want to make very clear this is an item that staff continues to advocate for residents, and the concern that we have is there are some lack of controls, lack of safety, and the reduction of city's ability to play a part in that. Those protocols, it can be concerning. This again is a good example of an ongoing conversation. A couple years ago, we saw the legislature remove the ability of cities being able to license these types of homes under a rental license provision. We saw it as an opportunity to have our foot in the door, do inspections, again, ensure that safety is the number one priority, especially for some of these people that are, needing support the most. And again, an item I want to make very clear on, a vast majority of these operations are good operations. But unfortunately, we do deal with some circumstances that are beyond challenging, and without ability to continue those conversations, again, whether through licensing or otherwise, the city's disadvantaged. We often are there in a reactive component, I think in terms of 911 responses. And again, just by way of sheer numbers, percentage-wise in communities, the northwest suburbs sees a higher concentration than throughout the state. So we'll continue to advocate for a number of items as those conversations evolve. Housing, we continue to recognize that throughout the state, even the nation, there is a shortage of affordable housing. One of the things that we want to continue to advocate for is local control. We believe that the Robbinsdale City Council has the best feel for what's good for the city of Robbinsdale. We get concerned that some of the proposed blanket controls that have been advocated at the state level don't work here. I sometimes give the examples of, we have residents that live on a plot that's maybe 40 feet by 80 feet. A single family home built in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, a 2-3 bedroom home, 1 bath home. This is not the same piece of property that exists on a 1 acre plot in Minnetonka. So removing requirements for setbacks, allowing for additional units, whether it's a duplex, triplex, sixplex, a blanket approach to increase housing, while well intended, may be good, it ultimately can be to the detriment of some communities. So really we're advocating for local control. We'll continue to see what the housing recommendations at the state level look like, and just want to be sure that our considerations are a part of those conversations. The last couple items that I have, public safety. We saw the state provide some funding in 2023 following that legislative session that supported things like personnel and community relations. We were certainly grateful for that, but part of that funding came with the recognition that public safety, both police, fire, and otherwise, are required to do more and more, and for good reason. And we're excited at the opportunity to do so, but those types of resources and efforts come with a cost. So we will continue to advocate for similar funding that was received a couple of years ago, and certainly appreciate that. Or as I segue into the last item, local government aid and fiscal disparities. We see these types of programs that benefit the communities of Robbinsdale and some of our neighbors. We will advocate that LGA as well as fiscal disparities remain a top priority by way of funding. We think the formula that the state continues to works, if that's the way to say it. We do know that in a community like ours, when LGA is not even just reduced, when it stays flat year to year, that can be to the detriment and ultimately increase the burden to our local taxpayers. So we'll continue to advocate that as we meet a lot of the goals at the state level, those including related to affordable housing, sustainability, transportation, water quality, a lot of these things we continue to hit the marks on. So we believe that LGA formula backs that up, and continue to support funding for that. So that was running through the priorities that we've again discussed here over the last number of months, some for a couple of years. Staff is certainly happy to respond to questions, comments, or concerns. Do look forward to continued conversation, but asking that you adopt as we presented or as you as a council will discuss.
If council would indulge me and let me ask a question first. But Where does social districts fall on this? Because I know it's something that would, I mean, I think that would super boost the local option sales tax too, if that was in play.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, great question. Social districts are something that are required to be approved at the legislative level. They've been rolled out intentionally at a slow rate. It's something that if Council wants to see staff advocate for, we'd be happy to add it to the list here.
Okay. Is that something you need head nods on now, or would we do that in a work session?
I would certainly take questions, comments, concerns regarding social districts. I assume because we've talked about them, Council continues to be familiar with the concept. And if I see head nods to what I might propose is, as we get through additional questions and comments, a motion could include the addition of social districts to be considered in Robbinsdale as a part of adopting our legislative priorities.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Council? Councilmember Wagner.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I had a similar thought about the social districts too. I would support a amendment to the written motion that staff provided, adding it to the priorities. And yeah, I think just all of it's really important. I think the call out for LGA is huge. We rely on that to provide high level of services to residents, and so basically that's money from the state that, you know, we're all Minnesota taxpayers, so in a kind of roundabout way or direct way, however you want to look at it, that's money that we've given to the state coming back to us to invest here locally, and it's kind of a big important part of our budget, and without it we would be worse off. And I think you can look into the recent history about the effects it's had on the city, especially during like economic downturns when that was cut significantly. So don't want to see that. I'd love to see that grow. And then being part of the Cable Communications Commission, the PEG fees, the stuff laid out here when it comes to broadband, and the fees that we charge cable companies to use our right-of-way, those should be expanded to internet providers as well, because those same wires and cables, well, not the same, but similar wires and cables are also in that same right-of-way, and that's our jurisdiction, that's our property, and we should be able to charge a small fee for private companies to make money off of that. Glad to hear the shout out for the Public Works facility, and I guess just overall, from my recollection, this is a more expansive priorities list than years prior, and so I'm happy to see that there's more things that we're aiming high, which I really appreciate. So thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Comments? Councilmember Greenberg.
Thank you, Mayor. I also support the social districts, and hopefully that can be included. And I like the way this is focused. I mean, all of the things that are in here are things that we've talked about that have been on this list before, and so you know, some of these are new, but a lot of them we've been talking about. So I appreciate that. One thing I would ask is that, like, these are really important. This is facing towards our legislators, but I think it's also a really good list to focus to our community and explain to them like what we're working on and why these things are needed. And so while I I totally agree with these priorities and that we need this, and I want to say thanks for helping focus us on these. I think it's also a great list to then go back to our community with and really dive deep into why we need a new public works facility, which we've been talking about, but make it very explicit so that residents understand what we're trying to do. And any of these, really.
Yes, Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council, for the comments so far. I I want to say thank you for the summary of all of these. I think this is really well put together. I also want to give kudos to the communication team for doing such a nice job of packaging this in a nicely designed manner. I am also supportive of adding in the social districts as an amendment to these priorities. Also, I'm just glad to see how several of these priorities are interconnected too. So with the public works facility and the local option sales tax, how those two are interconnected in terms of funding mechanisms. I'm happy to see that some of the council priorities are reflected in here. For an example, by way of sustainability efforts and the PFAS. I think one thing as we continue these conversations that I am very appreciative of when it comes to some of the examples where we are advocating for more local control, it's really helpful for me to understand some of those examples where at the legislative level, the shortcomings, how that happens in our policy work and in our day-to-day. So you shared a couple of examples there, but as we continue those conversations, I'm always appreciative to understand where the shortcomings are at the state level and how we can benefit from more local control in those areas. But otherwise, I don't have any other feedback. Again, thank you for putting together such a nice list. Thank you.
Councilmember Blackledge.
I was about to say, I feel like my fellow council members said everything that needed to be said, so great job.
Yes, well done, Tim. Thank you for strong work here. All right, well, is there a motion to adopt the attached legislative priorities for 2026 and adding the social district to the priorities list?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. That is approved. Plus social districts. Thank you. Okay. Moving right along here. All right, so we are at the first reading of an ordinance updating various sections of the city charter.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I can be brief on this one. As far as ordinance goes, it's pretty straightforward and short, and hopefully not too confusing. So basically, state statute outlines that for petitions, we need to include birth year in those for the form of when people create the petition. And so it's basically just to verify that the people that are signing the petition, we can verify that they're qualified voters for the city or in the city. So that's basically the reason behind just adding birth year as a column for petitions. Specifically, this will affect sections 5.04, which is form of petition, 5.11, which is referendum petitions, and then 5.14 recall petitions. So we just ask that you hold the first reading of the ordinance, adding a birth year column to these sections of the Robbinsdale City Charter. And if you have any questions, certainly here to answer them.
Okay. Thanks, Chase. Council, any questions, comments, or motions?
I will, hearing no comments or questions, I will make a motion to hold the first reading of the ordinance adding birth year column to sections 5.04, 5.11, and 5.14 of the Robbinsdale City Charter.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, passes. Nice quick work. Whoops, I just lost my agenda. There it is. All right, now moving on to other business. Voucher request pending approval for disbursement. Questions, comments? Nothing.
I'll make a motion to approve disbursement request for the period ending December 16th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. So approved. All right, now on to the moment here. Letter of resignation from Ward 4 Council Member Aaron Wagner.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Yeah, in the packet, there's my letter to staff and you all. I did prepare a statement, so I'll just read that now, if that's okay, and we'll go from there.
Well, how long is it?
Well, you know me. It shouldn't be too long.
5 to 7.
But yeah, thank you. So yeah, tonight I have a bittersweet announcement. Effective January 5th, 2026, I will no longer be a member of the Robbinsdale City Council. It is bitter because I love serving the city and hate to see my time end here. However, it is sweet because I became recently engaged to my partner and we hope to move in together by the summer. Due to some unchangeable circumstances, that move will be outside of Robbinsdale. There is a world where I could serve the remainder of my term, but I felt that it would be unfair to my neighbors who deserve a representative that will be here for the long haul. As this will be my last meeting, I want to share a few thoughts before I go. In the 3 short years I served, we got a lot done. I'm proud of the role I played in all of it. Among the many accomplishments, these stand out to me. We created a sustainability coordinator position whose focus is on making Robbinsdale a more environmentally friendly city. Solar panels on municipal buildings, our Green Step Awards, and the resident-led sustainability committee are the result of that investment. The climate change crisis is real, and I am proud to have supported efforts to mitigate further warming. Our Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Commission has been reinvigorated by a Parks Master Plan that was supported enthusiastically by this council. Manor Park in Ward 4 has an awesome new playground, and the new fitness park at Lakeview Terrace is state-of-the-art. The conversion of some baseball fields into ones for softball show how our city is evolving and not stuck in the past. We have made it clear we want every kid to feel welcome in our parks, regardless of gender. More work needs to be done, but this is a great start. City technology has been revamped. It is easier than ever for council and city documents to be accessed by residents and staff. Presentations during public meetings are now clear for anyone attending in person or watching. The city website redesign looks great. This is a little bit in the technical weeds, but we also transitioned to a .gov domain. And as someone who works in IT, I can appreciate the amount of work that went into changing something as simple as a website name. Projects like that can take a lot of time to complete, so kudos to staff for getting it done. Our new award-winning water treatment facility and water tower were approved and planned prior to my tenure, but the council I was a part of oversaw their openings and helped work out some of the kinks. One of the core functions of a city is to provide safe drinking water, and I'm so happy we have been forward-thinking in this regard. I'm grateful that our neighbors understand and appreciate the need to invest in our infrastructure. The rest of our Public Works Department also continues to impress me. During snowstorms, our streets are plowed quickly and efficiently, a feat that I still don't quite comprehend how they pull it off so well. Our forestry service is the envy of neighboring cities. Where others failed to mitigate emerald ash borer, we have been able to save most of our trees. Interventions against pollution and invasive species in Crystal Lake remain a success. We continued our support of Robbinsdale Public Safety. We increased pensions for our fire department and improved the purchase of a new fire truck. The police department cadet program has shown promising results. All of our first responders deserve our continued investment. I'm proud to have been a part of the municipal consent process for the light rail extension. As my neighbors know, it was the key motivating issue of my candidacy. I continue to believe that an investment of that scale will transform our city for the better. Freedom of mobility for non-drivers and those wanting to drive less, the environmental benefits, and a greater connectivity to the rest of the metro are the core reasons I support the project. Although much has been accomplished, there are many things I regret not getting to. For one, our investments in sidewalk infrastructure is often tied to road surface reconstruction, which I think holds us back. I appreciate the efforts we have taken so far, but I'd like to see a more proactive approach to the creation and repair of city sidewalks. We all deserve a safe way to walk around this beautiful city. I would like to see the conversation around reducing traffic speeds continue. There are certain roads that some people drive way too fast on, and I think we can do more to discourage speeding throughout Robbinsdale. It has been refreshing to hear new considerations regarding renters, as we talked about tonight, in our various policy discussions. For too long, they have been neglected from past iterations of this body. I wish I could have done more to provide protections for them and to expand their rights. Other cities have taken a lead on this, and we shouldn't be afraid to learn from their successes. Our population of renters continues to grow each year, so please do not forget about them. I hope that the young people of Robbinsdale will be afforded more opportunities to be involved in city decision-making. Right now, our institutions are failing them too often. This school district is in crisis, and the federal government is trying to end public education as we know it. I believe that this council has the responsibility and capability to empower our younger residents. I encourage my colleagues to think big about this. There are many people I would like to thank for getting me where I am today. Too many to name here, but I will do my best to keep it concise. To my mom, dad, and my sister Anna, thank you for your support and encouragement over my life. I truly could not have done it without you three. To my brother-in-law, Jesse, thank you for designing and creating the images for the campaign. Many residents were getting introduced to me for the first time, and your professional work allowed them to understand my vision in a creative and effective way. To my friend and super volunteer, Zach, thank you for helping me stay motivated and making door knocking less daunting. To Jen and Elijah, thank you for encouraging me to run in the first place. Extra kudos to Elijah for managing my campaign and all the time you put into it. It has been exciting to see you flourish in other political work since then, and I'm excited to see where your promising future takes you. Thank you to all the organizations and unions that endorsed me. It gave me the confidence that I wasn't in this alone and that I was on the right track. In particular, I want to shout out MAPE, which is my union, and Twin Cities DSA for being my political home. Keep on fighting for working people. To the city staff, thank you for all your hard work. I'm convinced that Robbinsdale is the most professional and effective employees in the state. Thank you to all the members on our city commissions. Your passion and expertise is invaluable to us up here on the dais. To my current and former council colleagues, thank you for your leadership and guidance. I have seen firsthand how thoughtful decision-making can lead to a better city for everyone. I have learned so much from you all, and I leave feeling reassured that the community is in good hands. To my fiancée, Aureen, thank you for sharing your electoral experience with me and for your love. Our relationship has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm forever in your debt. And lastly, thank you to the residents of Ward 4 for trusting me with this responsibility. It has been an honor to serve all of you. Please continue to stay involved with your local government. Your voice and advocacy matters more than you realize.
Thank you, Aaron. Well written and well said. We said this in the work session, but I have always appreciated your thoughtful way of asking questions. And I know I could always look down and you'd have one, and it's not a slight. That's a sincere appreciation for just how deeply you think about your role, and that's meaningful. And if more council people, not this council, you guys are great, but I'm just saying, in the world in general, I would just hope that other councils have people who just care as much as you do, put in the time, put in the research, and then come prepared with deep questions. So I appreciated working with you, Aaron. We're going to miss you, and I'll leave some space for others to shower you with their kind words. So, Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Aaron. That not only your resignation letter was so thoughtful and well written, but your statement tonight was truly special. And thank you for not only sharing some of the successes, but also sharing what you hope that the council will continue to do. So if I could make a request to have a copy or an email of that to keep that as some good inspiration. But truly, it has been such an honor to serve alongside you for the last 3 years. A few things that I really admire about you is that you're able to make very crystal clear your advocacy is not only for your constituents, but especially for the labor and working class community. I think you have always provided a very calm and pragmatic and empathetic presence that I've really admired and appreciated. I've learned from you on the way that you ask really thoughtful questions, as the mayor mentioned. You never forget to give recognition and praise to those who so deserve it, and just overall how you apply your leadership strengths in this space. So I know you will continue to benefit our community and beyond with your advocacy, and I look forward to witnessing how you do that. And I also want to acknowledge the gratitude that you share to your family, and I think that is so important to recognize the sacrifices that those of us who are so close have to make in order to do this work. So thanks to your partner and your family. With that, I wish you and your family all of the best, and you'll definitely be missed. Thanks.
Councilmember Greenberg.
I don't think I can be as eloquent as Mia, but I do want to say it's really been an honor to serve with you for my time on the council. It's just over a little over a year, but it's just so clear your passion for Robbinsdale and for the work that you do. It's always great to have a conversation with you, and the questions that you ask and the discussions, it really helps move everything forward. And I appreciate the perspective that you've brought to so much of what we've accomplished over the last year. And I mean, you should really be proud of all of the accomplishments that have happened in Robbinsdale with you on city council. I'll just say congratulations. I know this is bittersweet, but this is all because of good things. So good luck wherever your path may take you. I know it will be to good places, and you'll always be welcome in Robbinsdale. So please come back.
Councilmember Blackledge.
All right. Turn us back on. First and foremost, congratulations, Aaron. Super proud, super excited for you in this next journey, this next chapter. I think a lot of times I look at life as chapters, and I'm excited. And I was, as you talked about this last week, and thinking about how to share this, I go, well, it's a chapter closing, but another chapter opening. And I really appreciated your support, not only on this council, but this of me as I was journeying this first year as well too, being a strong advocate, saying, hey, great work. This someone who is a great reminder of affirming people. And I want to continue to speak that into you as well, so you're very affirming. Mm-hmm. And I feel very connected in the sense of how as a council we were able to come together with differences of opinions, and you helped to push us in ways that we needed. And that's valuable in all aspects of life. And so just to say I'm proud to be a part of a chapter in your life, and that you're a part of a chapter in my life as well too. And I know that will continue to carry on in some form or fashion as you see this next chapter as well too. So thank you for what you've done for Robbinsdale and will continue to do. And excited about your next steps and this journey that you're on. And like I said, Councilman Parisian really summed it up so well. So you're like, what can you say? What can you say? What can you do, really? But thank you, truly. And to your family, I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to recognize and call that out. And also to see your faith and conviction. Like I said, I think you led with that. You led with your heart, and you led intentionally, and there is no question about that in all things. So thank you.
Tim, I don't know if it's appropriate, but does staff, do you guys want to say? I mean, you don't have to, and I'm sorry. Now you're gonna be like, well, no, I got nothing. So, but I thought I'd give you guys space too. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, Mr. Mayor, seeing I have a chance to tell you what I really think. I did write down a couple of quick notes I was going to share either at the end, but this is thank you for the opportunity. Share out when I was looking back and thinking, 3 years, both seems like it's gone quick, but also a long time ago. One of those sort of two ways of feeling. Can recall, for those not familiar with the process, when a newly elected official comes on, I invite them into my office for some time to get acclimated, share this is kind of how operations work, what are some priorities for you. And I recall sitting in my office discussing a few ideas, some pretty big picture. I felt grandiose. I'm not going to share the language I was thinking, but this is going to be a challenge. Quickly into your term, I found that the things you were discussing was just a way to get towards a sincere desire to serve the community, your ward members and the community as a whole. It was apparent right away, and has been for the last 3 years, you're not afraid to meet with your constituents, including those who saw maybe something a little bit differently than you did. And I've always appreciated that. I've always respected that. Beyond our shared affinity for the Twins, probably the thing that I've appreciated the most is your genuine way of asking questions. I think you've heard that up here today. I've never taken a question or a comment you've shared towards staff as disrespectful. Challenging, absolutely, but in the best way possible. And I've always very much appreciated that. And your support of city staff has gone a long way, and certainly not just from the city manager's desk, but the team as a whole appreciated that.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think the council and city manager have really said great things about you, and I just want to echo all of what they've said. Give you my thanks and appreciation and gratitude towards the time you've served. I don't know if people realize like how much time really goes into being a council member. You read hundreds of pages of a packet, you talk to constituents, you're on the phone, you're going to committees, council meetings, work sessions. It's a lot of sacrifice, and so as a staff member, we might know that, but it's truly amazing how much work you put into it. I think I agree with the rest of the council and Tim. You ask amazing questions and really like get people to think in a different way, and it's always like an eyebrow lift from you, and I'm like, I never thought of that. So I appreciate that, and I think it's also been said already, but you really do support the staff here and recognize staff when they've done great work, and that's shown a lot, and it's really been supportive. You've been supportive of me, of the city manager, and of all of us. So thank you for that.
Well, Aaron, you know, clearly you have a lot to be proud of, and we are all honored to have spent time with you. So thank you. With that, is there a motion to accept this? Can we reject the letter? Or, no.
Resignation.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no or nay. All right, resignation letter accepted. You are free. All right. Next up, administrative reports.
I don't have too much for administrative reports. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday, be safe, have fun with family and friends, and also wish everyone a happy new year. And I want to thank the council as a whole for the last year. It's been really fast, but I feel like you've got a lot of work done and done a lot of great work. So thank you for a great year. And I also want to thank Tim for a great year as city manager, his leadership, and all the work that he puts into the entirety of 1 year is just kind of incredible. So thank you for that, and I'll leave it there. So,
well done, Chase. Thank you. Tim?
Mr. Mayor, Council, a couple quick items. First, I want to note with the accepting of the letter, staff will be sharing out through communication channels what next steps will look like. Council will formally declare a vacancy by way of resolution at the first meeting in January. From there, and we discussed this a little bit at our work session last week, what a timetable will look like. We'll be sure to get those dates out to the public as soon as we can here, starting later this week. So look for that. The last two items kind of in the theme here at year end. I want to start by thanking our staff. We talk about 90 full-time employees, and depending on the time of year, up to 100 additional part-time. Maybe looking at a good framework, looking at your agenda tonight. You had more than 20 items that are consent, public hearings, HR updates, which not always glamorous, but a source of recruitment and retention. Community development sometimes might feel like it moves slow, but that's months in the making. You approved throughout the year, close to a couple dozen ordinances. The work that goes into each and every one of these items may be tedious, may take weeks, if not months, sometimes years. A lot goes into making it happen, and that's done by a lot of very good staff. We have a number of departments here. For those not familiar, we operate on a lean team, but we are a full service team, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So for those watching, you should have waited till tomorrow to look at it while you're at your desk, but my thanks to staff, the continued excellence that we do in all facets. I'm impressed, and again, grateful to be part of the team. The last, again, I'd express my thanks to council, what we've accomplished in the last year. Some days it may not seem like a ton, may seem like we got our wheels spinning, but when you look back and you quantify some of what we've done in the last 12 months, it's a lot. I go back to February, you sat as a group and established a series of top goals and priorities. And even that, for being a newer group, there was sort of the question as well, you know, what are we forming, and what happens next? The series and set of conversations, sometimes challenging. We're always very supportive. You didn't always have the same set of ideas or the same direction to get there, whether it was you as a group or what staff proposed. But a lot of what we've been able to accomplish has been done with respect, and for that I'm very grateful. Ultimately, the most complicated set of decisions you have to make that I say every year is getting a budget done, and again, very difficult, complicated conversations that ultimately led to something that you as a group agreed upon. So again, doing so in a respectful way, I know is not always the case in every community. So I'm grateful to you all for that, your supportive staff, and offer my thanks. And then just finally wish everybody a happy holiday season and a happy new year.
Thanks, Tim. All right. Council General Communications. You want more airtime, Aaron? All right. Councilmember Blackledge, anything from you?
Yeah, I'll be real brief, just to echo the appreciation for the city staff as well. There's so much work, and I think this year truly been our first year stepping into this role and in this space, in this capacity. You've been really instrumental, and not only is allowing me to ask all the questions in all the things and all the ways, but just being able to get back to me really quickly. A lot to be said around that, as well to this my fellow councilman as well too. I know we don't get a chance to talk often outside of this for good reasons, which makes sense, but during our conversation and time together, I've just been able to grow as a person and grow this together, understanding like we have one mission. It's really about Robbinsdale and how we best support Robbinsdale in our community. So really appreciate that. And then this, for those watching as well too, we are in a time of reflection. This time of year, the holidays, it's just a space for us to stop, pause, and reflect on where we're at with life and how we continue to show up for not only ourselves, but each other. So I just want to kind of continue to encourage people to take this time over the next several weeks to just think about what your priorities are as well too, and how you can show up to be the best version of yourself and support each other as well too. So yeah, thank you.
Well said.
Well said. Councilmember Greenberg?
Yeah, I mean, I want to express my gratitude towards, or to staff, Tim and Chase. I mean, we've gotten some major things done this year and went through some large transitions that went, not without hiccups, but were very smooth given the scale. So I appreciate all that, and for all the leadership, and then to the rest of the staff that helps support the city. Our residents have come to expect a high standard of service, and I think we do a great job of providing that, and just all the engagement and being open and willing to listen to community and to our residents to try to get to the best outcomes for everything that we're dealing with. And along with that, I will also say a lot of gratitude and appreciation to the rest of the council and all the conversations that we've had this year, and discussions, and just, again, it's like we don't always agree, but we have a really respectful conversation, and I feel like all those ideas get us to the best possible solution. And I feel like we treat one another with respect, and that really does help get to the best outcome. So I want to say thanks and express my gratitude. I will also say happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year. This is our last meeting of the year. And then I also want to take time to just talk about the school board meeting last night really quickly, and just say thank you to the residents of Robbinsdale, of the Robbinsdale Area School District, to really all the families, everyone that was there last night. I mean, there were a lot of really heartfelt speeches, and the people that got up and spoke who weren't comfortable, the kids. I mean, it's a tough thing to go through, and unfortunately is necessary. but I guess I just want to say, yeah, thank you to everyone that was involved, the school board, the administration, the residents, everyone that was there. And I would highly suggest there was a lot of media coverage for that event, and I know it's a big one, but I feel like there's a lot of good things that happen in Robbinsdale area schools, and I would really like to see the media come out and promote the good things, and not just when there are problems and you know, a lot of drama for a contentious potential issue. There's lots of great stories that are happening in our district as well, or in the district. It's not the Robbinsdale City's district, but I'm a parent of kids who go to Robbinsdale area schools or have gone to Robbinsdale area schools, so I kind of feel like it's ours. But yeah, just wanted to bring attention to that. And with that, thanks so much. Have a happy New Year.
Thank you. Councilmember Parisian.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council. I would just love to simply echo a lot of the sentiments that have already been shared, including my appreciation for staff for a really wonderful year. I want to amplify what Councilmember Wagner said about this staff being some of the most professional, capable, kind, and helpful folks around. So big thanks to staff for all of the work that you do year round. Also want to echo my thanks to council. I think what's been said already is so true, and I think in the spirit of Councilmember Wagner's departure, I think the culture that you've helped to build on the council, it will really benefit us to continue in that same spirit of putting the folks of Robbinsdale first, and continue that ethos of respect for one another. And with that, I also wanted to share my gratitude for Councilmember Greenberg and the advocacy that you've done around the school district. I think some of the points that you've brought forward have really pushed that conversation forward, and the partnership between the council and the school board. And I also extend my appreciation to the school board as well for their willingness to share the information and hear feedback from our council and our residents as well. And with that, I will wrap up to wish everyone a very happy holidays. Thank you, Councilmember Blackledge, for the what you shared about a time of reflection. I think that is so true. And it's not only a time to reflect on all of the successes over the last year, but truly just to reflect inward and take time for some self-care and taking care of yourself and your loved ones. So that's it. Happy holidays.
Thank you. All right, well, I'll keep it short, but definitely thankful for this council, thankful for staff. Tim, it just hit me like, oh my God, it's been a year. I just realized right now it's been a year. So I think about how the beginning of this year started and how it ended, and what I know now that I didn't know then. And I just, like, my love for this city and my sense of duty to protect its community has never felt stronger. The more days I put forward and the more I engage with residents. You know, I'm going to shout out Jason one more time. You know, we both spoke last night at the school board. If you caught the Star Trib article, you know, that article comments that it was the council's input that factored into part of their decision. And I know that's a tough decision. That's a tough decision for families who have some of these schools that were closed. And I'm very sad about that. But I just like that is how local government works. That right there is a great example of residents stepping forward, putting this on our radar, telling us how much this hurt, and us listening to the residents and showing up and echoing the things that they are important to them in the microphone at that school board meeting. So, Jason, you did a great job leading the charge. I was just, you know, I'm indebted to this council for the thoughtful questions that were put in front of the Vision 2030 presentation. So everybody here should be respectfully proud, but also mournful of what happened. I mean, it's a difficult situation, but residents' voices were heard. That being said, I look forward to next year, and I look forward to taking some time and with family and friends, and hopefully see some of you around town. And if I don't, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday and an even better New Year. So that's a wrap, Aaron. Thanks for your time, buddy. Yeah. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Meeting adjourned.